Hello everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much everyone who is listening right now in the podcast. It is Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. I needed to come here and share this story with you guys. Something really tragic that happened in Minneapolis. But before I continue, I want to say thank you so much to everybody, like I said, who is listening using Spotify. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify, and that way every time I make a new episode, you get a notification. And thank you so much everyone, of course, who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. So you guys know I always come here and tell you anything can happen, your life can change at any moment. This time though, it happened to an 11-year-old boy, which is very sad. Okay, so let me just read to you guys what happened here. So it says here, the incident happened on June 23rd, according to the Minneapolis police chief, who said that the victim was an 11-year-old boy that was at a park. Okay, the victim have been identified as Amir Atkins, and what happened was that they were playing at a park. Okay, and there was gunfire. It says here, the detective said that gunfire could be heard shortly after 2 p.m. in the park, and a short time later, a man sitting on his porch heard cries for help. The man saw Amir had suffered life-threatening injuries and placed the child and one of the men into his vehicle and began to drive towards the hospital. They say after seeing a member of law enforcement along the way, the man, the neighbor who came out to help them, stopped and life-saving measures were attempted, but it was too late. And they say that I cannot emphasize enough how terrible it must have been to have an 11-year-old boy shot and killed in the middle of the day, said the Detective O'Hara. They say we need anyone with information to come forward so we can bring some sense of justice to this child family. And they're saying also that they're following every lead right now that is available. They say in the past, the family said that Amir's brother carried him while looking for help, and after the shooting, and later held him in the car as they rushed to the hospital. Amir was the beacon of light in our life, a joyful, loving child whose laughter filled our hearts, they said. He had a unique spark that touched everyone he met, and in his absence, he leaves a void that never can be filled. So imagine playing, it's summertime. And the school is out already. So this is what you're going to see like more often than ever, right? In this time right now. Imagine just playing in the park, right? I'm sure every park right now is very busy, like in this season. So they're playing, they hear gunshots, and then it hit this 11-year-old boy. That's crazy, right? And he was held and carried by his own brother. So let me see if I can get more details regarding this incident, okay? They say authorities believe the shooting is related to vehicles that were driving around the park at the time. Like, probably gang related, right? Like, get away from the parks. Putting innocent people in the way. Don't do this at all, right, to begin with, but like, don't you see like the park is filled with kids? My goodness, and now nobody's talking, like they're not saying, nobody's coming forward to say, these are the people who did it. Let me just see if I can get more information. They're not, it's interesting, to be honest. They're not really giving more information about like who was at the park with the child, or what actually happened, how often did this. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, like how often did they see these cars driving around? Because once you see a car once or twice, there's something's up, right? And you always you start like, okay, let me see what's happening here. You don't ever get too distracted at the park, right? It says here that his family is devastated by the death of his nephew. Let me see. I'm sure, right? Amir, 11 years old, was due to be enrolled in the 6th grade at Hopkins Elementary School by the end of the summer. Let me see. He was shot, and this happened in Fowle Park in North Minneapolis just after 2 p.m. on Monday. So it's called Fowle Park in North Minneapolis. And they say Amir and his 15-year-old brother, Keontae, had gone to the park to hang out with friends. So this is the information that I was looking for. So he was there at the park with his older brother, right? Imagine how terrifying this is. We're not talking his older brother who is in his 30s, right? His 15-year-old older brother was the one who helped carry him, Amir, who was only 11, carry him, right, to this neighbor's car and drive him in his, got in the car holding his brother, and they were driving to the hospital, right? So imagine how crazy that must have been for these two children, right, to experience something like this, right? And for this 15-year-old to see his brother die in his arms, basically, not only to see him shot, right, to actually see him die in his arms. That's crazy, right? So you definitely, when you hear something like this, you have compassion for the family, right? It's so crazy, so traumatizing. I'm sure it was probably very scary to be in a park. Not only that, but like it tells you how responsible the 15-year-old was. That he immediately was like, "Where's my little brother?" Right? Like, I cannot believe that this happened. And then he actually, the neighbor said he heard cries for help. So that's, it's so sad. So I wanted to come and share this story with everybody. As you guys know, I like sharing when the family goes through something tragic like this and they create GoFundMe, because even though like we're not there, we're not related to them, we can come together as a community and help them out to, but especially when they're going to something so tragic like this. I mean, like I said, summer just started, right? All the playgrounds out there, they're gonna be fully packed right now, more than ever, like I said before. So, imagine the parents, right? And so the family created a GoFundMe. I'm gonna put the link here. So if you feel led to give monetary, you can do so by just clicking on the link for the family, for the GoFundMe account that they created. Just to keep this in mind, this happened this Monday. So 2 days ago, today's Wednesday, so it happened on the 23rd. So I'm going to leave the link for the GoFundMe. You can help like that. You can also help by just praying for them, right? Praying that, praying that they get peace during this horrible time, right? As they grieve everything that happened to their son, to both of their sons, right? I'm sure it's very traumatizing for the 15-year-old to experience something like this. And everybody else, you have to think about everybody else that was in the park, every child. Like, one day they're playing with this child, and then the second, the one moment they're playing with this child, and the other moment the child that was just playing with them gets shot in front of them, right? How crazy is that? So thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening in the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.